at the Pinnacle Mountain State Park, and there's thunderstorms rolling in. So we're in mile 1, and it's a paved trail so far. Rain hasn't been too bad, and the weather is pretty nice, in the mid-60s, and it's the beginning of March. All right, we're not a mile in, taking heavy rain. All right, now we're a little over a mile in. We are taking pretty heavy rain right now. Hopefully this lets up a little bit. But so far the path itself, not too bad, even in the rain. All right, well, we're almost 2 miles in. Still taking pretty heavy rain out here. The terrain itself hasn't been too bad, but with the rain, it's a little slick. But we carry on in the rain. Hopefully it lets up a little bit here soon. All right, we're over 2 miles now. Still taking heavy rain. Still taking lightning. Still taking thunder, as you can hear there. I'm sure it's gonna let up soon. Otherwise, the path itself, not too bad. A little muddy right now. I'm sure it's gonna get better. As you can hear, pretty active thunderstorm right now. Thankfully, the trail is not too severe, because it is starting to get a little muddy. All right, not that much further in, and I also don't think the rain has let up. I think it's might have gotten worse. But anyways, it's pretty muddy out here right now. I don't think we're to mile 3 yet. We've had some pretty rambunctious lightning and thunder episodes while we've been out here, and the rain is still pretty heavy. All right, so a little over 5 miles now. We are in some deep mud here, but the rain seems to have let up, and the thunderstorm hopefully has passed, and we're carrying on. Okay, about 7.5 miles in, still raining, very muddy conditions still, and I guess due to the rain, everyone is kind of packed in together, which from our last Mammoth March in Texas, I don't necessarily remember it being so jammed together, but that's how it is. And I think we're about to do a switchback here in a moment. We do a circle, it looks like. All right, so now we're on more of a paved path. You can hear there's still some storming around the area. Almost up to mile 8, and it looks like we're just going to do a loop and then head back to where we were. All right, so we're around 9 miles. Just a shot of what it looks like here. We do have standing water, numerous instances of deep mud plunges, if that's a hiking term, as we've gone along here. So it does appear like it would be a nice scenic trail normally, which it still is, but having to overcome some of the elements i.e. rain. Anyways, we continue on. They had us do a loop. So mile 8, 9 was on a paved path and you did a loop. So you had an aid station, you looped, you came back to it. So next one not for another 5 miles. All right, so I think we're nearing hopefully mile 10, maybe mile 11. But just a quick shot of the path and the conditions. See, there's a lot of standing water on there. Still raining, but we're making our way through. A little after mile 12. Having to go up a little altitude. A little bit more to go. All right, so we just did a pretty massive hill there with rocks, in the mud, in the rain, in the wet. It was a little crowded again because that was after a break station, so a little bit of a backup. Back out in the open now, but a lot of people got winded on that hill. So I would imagine even if it wasn't rainy and slick, that's a little bit of a more advanced hiker hill maybe. So we're on our way, maybe around mile 12 now. Still raining, still wet, but no thunderstorms. So I guess that's good. Pretty cool rock thing. Somewhere around, I think mile 13 coming up. You can see the trail's still pretty wet. Got a little bit of drizzle coming down still. But we're steadily progressing. And the hikers have thinned out quite a bit as we've had several stops along the way. A bit of a debris field there. That's more up here too. So just making our way through. Not too bad the past couple of miles here, around mile 13. Fairly easy terrain. Got kind of a nice view of a lake here. I don't know what lake it is, but it's a pretty good view. And we kind of continue to slog on in the muddy terrain. Looks like we're gonna get another view of the lake up here. And we're maybe getting around mile 15 now. All right, finally been able to put the top down, maybe just for a little bit. The rain has, the rain has mostly stopped here. We do have a little bit of dripping from the over carriage, as it were. A little bit rough terrain right here, holy smokes. Anyways, I think we took a wrong turn at some point. So I believe this Mammoth March was a little over 19 miles. And I think we're gonna walk more than that. We lost track of the blue arrows and went off with a group of folks. Eventually caught back up with the trail, so we'll see when we get to the end. So So we are closing in on mile 16. You can kind of see what the terrain's like in here. It's a pass, some rocks on it. All right, well, another bit of a drop ball before mile 15. The course isn't very well marked, so we ended up redoing a loop. I don't know, maybe another 2 miles, and then got back to mile 15. So we're gonna do well over the 20 miles when all is said and done. So I think we've gone off track twice. So make a note if you do this same march. Nice little water feature here. Back on track. Coming around to mile number 16. Mile 16. Even though we've probably already walked 19. But you can see the rain has stopped. A little bit of a drier course up here, still a little bit wet. But also not a very challenging piece of the trail here, thankfully, as we're coming to the last quarter or less of the march. And here we are dealing with this. I think we're in mile 17. Still very waterlogged here. But the grade and rockiness is less. So we'll take it. Here we come, mile 17. Looks like we're entering the final little bit here, the East Summit Trail. I don't know, we're, I think, pretty close probably to 18 miles right about now. So, gonna climb up this here, getting closer. All right, so coming up on mile 19. Again, we've walked way more than this. We'll give you final stats at the end. But this last little stretch, last little couple of miles, has been very rocky. Up and down, but with rocks. All right, so I think we started a touch before 7:30. And it is about 3:30 right now. So considering we walked a couple of different detours above and beyond, we're on the last mile of the Mammoth March in Pinnacle Mountain State Park. And it's finishing on a finished trail, I think. That's what we're on now. We're almost done. Here we are on that last little bit, headed toward the end. See you at the finish line. Here we go. Coming up on the finish line. The end. All right, so the final tally is we ended up going 22.6. So the non-marked parts of the course where we went around, I don't think it was a full 20 miles on this course, so maybe we went anywhere from 2.5 to 3 miles over. Yay us. And we got a medal. So there you go.